3 morning habits that will change your life forever. Let these words sink in for just a moment, because if you truly understand what I am about to share, your days will never feel the same again. Life doesn't change in one giant leap. It changes in the small things you do every single day, especially in those first few hours after you wake up. Mornings set the tone, and the way you begin your day decides how the rest of it unfolds. So often, we wake up and rush. We grab our phones, scroll through endless feeds, compare ourselves, fill our minds with stress and distraction even before brushing our teeth. But what if you could claim your mornings back? What if, instead of reacting to the world, you built a sacred routine that reprograms your energy, your focus, and your entire mindset? The first habit that will transform your life is silence. Give yourself the gift of 5 to 10 minutes of stillness every morning. Call it prayer, meditation, gratitude, or simply breathing. What matters is quieting your mind before the world gets noisy. When you wake up and sit in silence, you train your mind to be calm amidst chaos. You begin the day with clarity, not confusion. This simple pause fills you with peace that follows you throughout the day. Remember, the world outside is noisy, but the power inside you is always found in silence. The second habit is movement. Not a 2-hour workout, not something complicated. Just move your body. Stretch, walk, breathe deeply, maybe do a short exercise that makes your blood flow. Why? Because your body is the home where your mind lives. If the home is weak, cluttered, or tired, the mind cannot thrive. A few minutes of morning movement will boost your energy more than a cup of coffee. It will awaken every cell, reminding you that you are alive, that you are strong, and that today is a new chance to grow. The third habit is intention. Most people wake up and live by accident. They let the day control them instead of controlling the day. But you are not most people. Before you step into the rush, ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to live? Who do I want to be today? Take a notebook and write one clear intention. It could be patience, focus, kindness, discipline, or gratitude. When you live with intention, you don't just go through the day, you grow through the day. My friends, greatness is not hidden in extraordinary events, but in consistent ordinary actions. These 3 habits, silence, movement, intention, are not glamorous, they are simple. But if you practice them every morning with discipline, they will rewire your brain, renew your energy, and reshape your life. Remember this, your mornings are the doorway to your destiny. Guard them, protect them, and nurture them. Because if you can master your morning, you can master your day. And if you can master your days, you can master your life forever. When you wake up in the morning, the world is still quiet. The streets are calm, the sky is still half asleep, and the air carries a silence that cannot be found at any other time of the day. Yet what most of us do, as soon as our eyes open, is grab our phone. We dive into notifications, into other people's lives, into noise that doesn't belong to us. And in doing so, we lose the most precious gift we are given each day, the power of silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is not loneliness. It is not the absence of sound. Silence is the presence of yourself. It is the space where your heart speaks, where your mind untangles, and where your soul breathes. The greatest mistake we make is thinking silence is unproductive. We live in a world that glorifies being busy, where the measure of our worth is how much we do, how much we earn, how much we achieve. But what is the use of doing more if we are doing it without clarity? What is the use of running fast if we are running in the wrong direction? Silence is what helps us know where we are going. Silence gives us clarity, focus, and direction. Imagine this: you are driving in the fog. The road is unclear, and you keep pressing the accelerator, hoping that speed will take you to safety. But without clarity, speed only multiplies the risk of crashing. That is how many of us live our lives, running faster and faster, but never pausing to clear the fog of our minds. Silence is the windshield wiper for the soul. It removes the fog of confusion and reveals the road ahead. When you spend even 5 to 10 minutes in silence every morning, you begin to understand yourself. You begin to notice your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. You become aware of what is truly important instead of being dragged by what is urgent. Silence gives you the power to respond, not react. And in this fast, noisy, and distracted world, that is the rarest and most valuable power a human being can possess. Think of the great leaders, thinkers, and saints of history. None of them created wisdom out of noise. Buddha found enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in silence. Mahatma Gandhi, amidst the chaos of India's independence, observed days of silence to reflect and renew his strength. Even modern innovators like Steve Jobs spoke of the importance of quiet reflection. The truth is timeless as silence is where ideas are born, where solutions emerge, where inner strength is nurtured. But silence does not come automatically. The moment you sit still, your mind will resist. It will throw at you 100 reminders, emails to reply to, bills to pay, meetings to attend, conversations to replay. That is the mind's way of escaping stillness. The discipline of silence is not about fighting these thoughts. It is about watching them pass like clouds in the sky. Do not chase them, do not judge them, simply let them move. Slowly, you will notice the clouds disappear and the sky within you becomes clear. That clarity is where your true self lives. Many people say, I don't have time to sit in silence, my mornings are too busy. But I ask you, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, then who are you living for? If your mornings are only about rushing, where will peace ever find its place? Silence is not about adding one more task to your schedule. Silence is about setting the foundation for your entire day. It is like tuning an instrument before playing music. If the strings are untuned, no matter how beautifully you play, the music will sound harsh. Silence is the tuning of the soul. Once tuned, everything you do, your work, your relationships, your decisions, begins to flow in harmony. There is a beautiful analogy often shared in wisdom traditions. Imagine a jar filled with muddy water. If you keep shaking it, the mud mixes and the water looks dirty. But if you place the jar on the ground and leave it still, slowly the mud settles and the water becomes clear. Our mind is that jar. Every day we shake it with constant activity, distractions, and worries. We never let it be still. Silence is the moment we place the jar down and let the mind settle. And when the mind settles, the clarity that emerges is more valuable than anything else you could achieve in those minutes. In practical terms, what does silence look like in the morning? It does not have to be sitting cross-legged in a perfect meditation posture. It can simply be sitting by your window, closing your eyes, and breathing deeply. It can be stepping outside, feeling the cool air on your skin, and allowing your thoughts to soften. It can be writing in a journal, pouring out your thoughts so your mind can rest. Silence is not about a technique, it is about presence. The point is to pause, to connect, to listen, not to the world, but to yourself. When you start your day with silence, you begin your day from the inside out, not the outside in. Most people live from the outside in. They let the news, social media, and circumstances dictate their mood and decisions. But when you anchor yourself in silence, you live from the inside out. Your peace dictates how you handle circumstances. Your clarity guides how you respond to challenges. Your calmness protects you from chaos. I want you to reflect for a moment how many mistakes in your life were made because you reacted too quickly without pausing. How many arguments escalated because you answered in anger instead of waiting for clarity. How many opportunities did you miss because your mind was too noisy to see them? Silence may not solve every problem, but it gives you the strength to face them wisely. And wisdom is what transforms problems into growth. Silence also has a spiritual dimension. In silence, you realize that you are not just a body running after goals or a mind filled with thoughts, but a soul, timeless, powerful, and peaceful. Silence reminds you that your worth is not in how much you do, but in who you are. It reconnects you to something greater than yourself. Call it God, the universe, the higher self, or simply love. In silence, you feel the invisible hand that guides you, the presence that protects you, the source that sustains you. This is why silence is not just a habit, it is a prayer. When you practice this every morning, day after day, something magical happens. You will notice you become less irritated by small things. You will notice you can handle stress with calmness. You will notice you no longer feel the constant urge to escape into distractions. You will notice that even in the midst of noise, you carry silence within you. And that, my friends, is freedom. That is the kind of transformation that can truly change your life forever. The world will always try to pull you outward. It will tempt you with noise, with urgency, with endless demands. But your power lies in being able to return inward. That return happens in silence. Start with just a few minutes. Be consistent. Do it every morning before you open your phone, before you rush into your routine. Sit, breathe, listen. Let the silence speak. And you will see slowly but surely that your mornings will no longer control you. You will control them. And once you control your mornings, you will see your days transform. And once your days transform, your life will never be the same again. The body you live in is the home of your soul. Every thought you think, every dream you chase, every moment you experience happens through this body. Yet how often do we neglect it? How often do we treat it like a burden instead of a blessing? When the alarm rings in the morning, many people fight with their body. They drag it out of bed with heaviness, they drown it with caffeine, they complain about tiredness. But the truth is simple, your body is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. And when you begin your day by moving it with love, gratitude, and energy, you unlock a power that can transform everything you do. Movement is life. Everything in nature is designed to move. The rivers flow, the trees sway, the stars shift, even the air is never still. When things stop moving, they stagnate. A river that stops flowing becomes a swamp. In the same way, a body that does not move begins to weaken, stiffen, and decay. But when you bring movement into your morning, you remind your body that it is alive, strong, and capable. The mistake many people make is thinking movement means hours of exercise, expensive gyms, or intense routines. But the morning habit that can change your life does not need to be complicated. It is not about punishing your body, it is about awakening it. Even 10 to 15 minutes of conscious movement in the morning can have more impact than hours of sluggish activity throughout the day. Stretch, walk, breathe deeply, dance, do yoga, run lightly. Choose what makes you feel alive. The goal is not perfection, the goal is energy. When you move your body in the morning, you are not just stretching muscles. You are expanding your mindset. You are teaching your brain that today is not about laziness, but about progress. You are telling yourself, I am not going to carry yesterday's tiredness into today's possibilities. Movement clears the residue of sleep and brings you into alertness. It ignites your brain, increases oxygen flow, and sharpens your focus. Science tells us that even short bursts of exercise release endorphins, the body's natural happiness chemicals. That is why after a simple walk or stretch, you suddenly feel lighter, brighter, and more positive. Think of mornings as the launch pad of your day. A rocket cannot take off without energy. If it tries to rise without fuel, it collapses back to the ground. In the same way, if you try to begin your day without fueling your body with movement, you drag yourself through the hours with heaviness. But if you invest a few minutes in moving, you rise with momentum that carries you through tasks, meetings, challenges, and decisions. Movement is your fuel. Without it, you run on empty. Let me share an observation. Whenever you see successful people, athletes, entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders, or even artists, you will notice a common discipline. They respect their bodies. They make time for movement, no matter how busy they are. Why? Because they know their body is the vehicle for their dreams. You cannot drive far if your vehicle is weak or broken. The body must be maintained, fueled, and energized to carry you to your destiny. Morning movement is the simplest, most powerful way to keep that vehicle strong. But the power of movement is not only physical, it is emotional. When you move your body, you release stored emotions. Have you noticed how, When you feel stressed or angry, your body tightens. Your shoulders stiffen, your back aches, your breath shortens. These emotions get trapped inside. Movement frees them. It shakes off the weight of yesterday's stress. It allows you to express without words. That is why even children instinctively run, jump, and play to release energy. As adults, we forget this wisdom. We trap ourselves in stillness that suffocates. Movement liberates. There is also a spiritual beauty in movement. In many traditions, the body is seen as a temple. If your body is a temple, then movement is your prayer. Each stretch, each breath, each step is a way of saying thank you for the gift of being alive. Imagine waking up and, before rushing to work or scrolling through your phone, you move with gratitude. You feel your heart beating, your lungs expanding, your muscles awakening. You realize that life itself is moving through you. In that realization, you feel connected to God, to the universe, to the sacredness of existence. Some may say, I don't have time to move in the morning. I have too many responsibilities. But I ask you this, if you don't have time for your health, how will you have time for your dreams? If you neglect your body, one day you will be forced to make time for illness. The truth is, a few minutes of movement can save you hours of lost energy later. Movement is not a waste of time, it is an investment in time. Because when your energy is high, you complete tasks faster, you think clearer, and you interact better. Consistency is the secret. Doing it once will make you feel good for a day. Doing it every day will transform your life. At first, your mind will resist. It will say, stay in bed, you are too tired, tomorrow is a better day. But tomorrow never comes unless you conquer today. Start small, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't focus on intensity, focus on regularity. The magic lies not in doing it perfectly, but in doing it consistently. Over time, this habit becomes a ritual, and this ritual becomes your identity. Consider how much money people spend on motivation, books, seminars, courses, yet the greatest motivation is already built into your biology. Movement awakens it. After a few minutes of stretching, your mind becomes sharper. After a brisk walk, your mood brightens. After yoga or breathing exercises, your stress melts away. No book or seminar can give you the same shift that your own body can give you if you learn to move it. There is also a deep connection between movement and discipline. When you wake up and move, you are training yourself in commitment. You are proving to your mind that you can do what you said you would do. That small victory in the morning creates momentum for bigger victories throughout the day. If you can discipline yourself to move when your bed is warm and tempting, you can discipline yourself to focus at work, to control your emotions, to keep your promises. Morning movement is more than fitness. It is training for life. Think of how different your life would feel if every morning you started not with lethargy, but with energy. Instead of dragging yourself through the day, you would step into it with power. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you would feel like the creator of your reality. All because you chose to honor your body with movement. My friends, life is too precious to be lived in tiredness. You were not born to merely survive the hours. You were born to live them fully, passionately, and joyfully. And that is not possible without energy. Energy is the foundation of achievement, and movement is the doorway to energy. Just as a lamp cannot shine without oil, your life cannot shine without physical vitality. Every morning you have the chance to refill that oil through movement. So tomorrow, when you wake up, resist the temptation to dive into distractions. Instead, stand up, breathe, stretch, walk, move. Thank your body for carrying you into another day. Let your blood flow, let your energy rise, let your spirit awaken. And as you move your body, remember you are also moving your life. Step by step, breath by breath, you are building the strength to face challenges, the resilience to rise after failures, and the vitality to enjoy your successes. Do this not once, not twice, but every morning. Make movement your sacred ritual. Protect it, honor it, cherish it. Because when your body is alive with energy, your mind becomes alive with clarity, and your heart becomes alive with purpose. This is the power of movement. This is the gift you can give yourself every morning. And once you give it, your days will never be the same again. Every day when we wake up, the world is waiting to pull us in 1,000 directions. There are messages on our phones, deadlines at work, family responsibilities, unexpected challenges, and endless distractions. Most people open their eyes and immediately start reacting. They let circumstances control them. They let other people's demands decide their mood. They let the outside world dictate their inner world. But if you want to live a life of purpose, you cannot live this way. You cannot live by accident. You must live by intention. Intention is the compass of your day. Without it, you drift aimlessly, carried by whatever waves come your way. With it, you navigate with clarity, even if storms surround you. Intention is not about controlling everything that happens. It is about deciding who you will be no matter what happens. When you wake up and set an intention, you take back your power. You are no longer a passenger, you are the driver of your day. Think of it like this: two people wake up on the same morning. Both face challenges, both deal with stress, both meet people who test their patience. One reacts with frustration, loses focus, and feels drained by evening. The other handles the same challenges with calmness, keeps focus, and feels fulfilled at the end of the day. What is the difference? It is not luck, not circumstance, but intention. The first person had no clear direction, so they reacted to everything blindly. The second person started the day with a decision. I will stay calm today, I will be kind today, I will focus today. That intention shaped every action. Setting an intention in the morning is like programming your inner software. Just as you update your phone or computer to function smoothly, you must update your mind every morning. Otherwise, you run on old programming, yesterday's worries, past fears, unresolved emotions. Intention is a reset. It tells your mind, this is what matters today, this is who I choose to be. When you do this daily, your days align with your values, and your life begins to align with your purpose. But here's the challenge: most people don't pause long enough to even ask themselves what they want from the day. They wake up and jump into action. They let urgency replace importance. They chase tasks but forget meaning. And by the end of the day, they feel empty. Not because they did nothing, but because they did not do what mattered. Intention protects you from this emptiness. It ensures that your actions are not just movements, but meaningful steps. How do you set intention practically? It does not need to be complicated. Take a notebook, a journal, or even a simple piece of paper. Each morning, write down one clear intention. Not a to-do list, not 50 goals, just one focus of who you want to be. For example, today I choose patience. Today I choose focus. Today I choose kindness. Today I choose discipline. When you do this, your brain begins to filter your actions through that lens. If your intention is patience, you will notice when irritation rises. If your intention is focus, you will catch yourself when distractions appear. Intention becomes the guardrail of your mind. Some people say, but what if I forget my intention during the day? Of course you will. The mind is tricky and life is unpredictable. But the beauty of intention is that even if you forget it for a while, it is still there, like a compass waiting to guide you back. You may wander off course, but the moment you remember, you can realign. That is why writing it down is powerful. It becomes a physical reminder of your inner choice. Carry it with you, revisit it, repeat it. With practice, it becomes natural. Intention also builds identity. Every time you set and live by an intention, you reinforce who you are becoming. If every day you choose kindness, soon kindness becomes your nature. If every day you choose discipline, discipline becomes your identity. Small daily choices compound into character, and your character shapes your destiny. This is why intention is so powerful. It is not just about one day, it is about who you are becoming for the rest of your life. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you plant a seed every morning. Some days it is a seed of patience, some days of courage, some days of gratitude. At first, it seems small, invisible, even insignificant. But day after day, these seeds grow into trees. One day you look back and realize you have created a forest of virtues, a garden of strength, a life filled with shade and fruit, not only for yourself but for others. That is the long term power of intention. But beyond discipline and character, intention also connects you to something higher. When you wake up and set an intention, you are aligning with the flow of life. You are saying, I am not just a machine running on autopilot. I am a conscious being and I choose how I live. In spiritual terms, intention is prayer in action. It is not asking the universe for something, it is telling the universe what you are willing to be. When your intention is pure, your actions gain power and your life gains meaning. And do not underestimate the ripple effect. When you live with intention, you inspire others without even speaking. A parent who begins the day with patience creates a calmer household. A leader who begins the day with integrity builds trust in the workplace. A friend who begins the day with gratitude spreads positivity in their circle. Intention is contagious. When you live it, you silently give permission for others to live it too. Some people may say, but isn't intention just positive thinking? No. Positive thinking is wishing the day will go well. Intention is deciding who you will be no matter how the day goes. Positive thinking hopes, intention commits. That is the difference. Anyone can hope for a good day, but it takes strength to declare,